So welcome everybody, absolutely delighted to see all of you this Tuesday afternoon. So today I'm interviewing Rosemary. Rosemary is, she's a fitness expert. She's 70 years old. I hope she,
actually 71 next Tuesday, but I don't expect a card, don't worry about it.
We'll be celebrating next Tuesday with you, Rosemary. So yes, she's somewhere in the region of 70, but nearly 71. And she retired at 60 and then retrained as a fitness instructor. So I was keen to talk to her this afternoon all about fitness because I think it's an incredibly important subject. So my first question to you, Rosemary, is have you been into fitness all your life and exercise, or is this something that's relatively new to you after you turn 60?
No, I think I've been active all my life. I say I think, but because I was sporty at school. I played hockey and netball and did swimming and running and all that sort of stuff. And then through my late teens and 20s, I probably didn't do much. Although I did work as a lifeguard and a swimming teacher. And then in my 30s, at the age of 33, I started running. And I've been running ever since. I always say I've never arrived anywhere, haha. So I've been running for about 38 years. But I was typical. I always run because I like running, but I was your typical join a gym and then never go. Oh, I must do something. I'll join a gym as well as running. And so I quite understand why people don't want to go to gyms and things. And I would think, why don't you want to go? And I just really, I don't know why. I still don't like them. So yes, the answer is yes and no. I was into running, but not into it like I am now. Because when you're young, your body's very forgiving, so you don't ever think you're going to get aches and pains, do you?
No, you don't. I think we've established though that you're definitely on that scale of people who have always been, into exercise and into fitness and so on and so forth. And it's actually quite interesting because I've come to fitness very late in my life, very, very late in my life, like I was 69 when I first got interested. And you were the kind of person that I didn't get on with very well at school, put it that way, because you're one of those, fit and sporty people, and I just wasn't.
I was always first to be picked in the teams and things.
Yeah, exactly. And I was always the last. In fact, I tried to avoid to be picked in any teams because I didn't want to be in a team playing hockey and things like that. But I do think that but I've come around full circle because I absolutely passionately believe now that the kind of thing that you do, and in fact the sort of things that you're trying to get people like me to do, is incredibly important. So totally want to be your friend now after all those years.
I'll pick you first for my team, Tricia.
Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about functional fitness, because I think that's what you call it, and I think it's what we all really need to be aware of. So tell me about functional fitness.
Well, functional fitness is, as it sounds, it's fitness that enables you to function. People do fitness for various reasons. I mean, when you're young, particularly if you're female, you exercise because you think it's going to make you lose weight. The bad news is that fitness or exercise is totally inefficient at helping you lose weight, or for weight loss. For weight loss, you need to adjust your diet. But they want it to have sort of beach bodies, and the blokes want six packs and things. But I think as we get older, we probably want fitness so that our bodies just keep working and that we can function. So the functional fitness that I do, it uses muscles. I try and do right, sorry, I'm sort of wittering around here. I have two classes. The first class on a Monday is a strength class, because as we get older, if we don't exercise, our muscles waste. So we need to do specific strengthening exercises. I mean, going dancing twice a week and all the rest of it is fine, but you need to do specific strengthening exercises. and you need to be able to get down on the floor for that one for some of the exercises. The Wednesday class is a functional fitness class, and quite a lot of the exercises are similar, but it aims to work most of your large muscles, most of the muscles in your body. And it's just so that you can keep doing things like getting up and down stairs, getting in and out the bath. An awful lot of people switch to showers, not because they like them. Well, I mean, they probably do, but because they can't get in and out the bath. Now, I love a bath. I read in the bath and it's lovely. And not being able to get in and out the bath would be horrible for me. Just to be able to stand up and do the washing up, to be able to go out and meet friends, to go and walk to a cafe, just anything that you need to be able to do that and wash wash the back of your hair or comb the back of your hair. Just things that you don't notice gradually creep up on you. You never think you're going to lose the ability to do things. But I mean, I was quite surprised when I first started how many older people find just putting their arms just straight up in the air like that difficult, because they've got limited mobility in their, well done, Charlotte. I've got you all doing it now.
We will sit here and do it.
Yeah, they've got limited mobility. They've got limited mobility in their shoulders, and it's just something that they take for granted. They can maybe get them to there. So just some of my exercises are just sort of doing that, or raising your arms that way, just to keep your shoulders mobilized, to keep your other exercises, to keep your legs strong. And I always say, particularly with functional fitness, if something is difficult, like if going up and down stairs is difficult, that doesn't mean you should take the lift. It means you should do it more, because practice, if you notice a baby isn't born able to walk. And when they're toddlers, they try and try and try and try until they practice and practice. Stand up, they fall down. They stand up, they fall down until they can do it. And even when they can do it, they're very wobbly. And then as children and teenagers and into adult life, you're able to do it without even thinking about it. But then if you let yourself slow down, you don't realize that you're losing the ability. And so it's like being a child again. You have to practice. And I actually teach people to walk. I'm very, very keen on people walking. So strengthening exercises, mobility exercises, and walking, and coordination as well. They all contribute towards balance. And balance is the thing I get asked about more than anything as well. Because if you can't balance, if you keep falling over, it's not very nice. But balance, falling is one of the biggest killers of people over 75. And I mean, that horrified me when I found out about that. And sorry, I'm wittering on here, but in the Granada thing, I was talking about balance. And so I thought, I measured my feet, and in bare feet, my foot is 9 inches, and I'm 5'6", so that's 66 inches. So if you think, it's amazing that we can actually stand upright, because we've got this tall body and this tiny little base. If you had a ruler and you had to scale some blue tack for feet, it would fall flat on its face. It's a wonder we can actually balance, and it's a miracle that we can. So I bet you weren't expecting quite such a long answer to that. So functional fitness is just for you to be able to function properly in everyday life.
Yeah, I mean, what you just said there is really, really important, because it's that slow loss of really being able to do very basic things like wash your hair, get out of the bath. I've got this thing about being able to put my pants on with standing.
Yes.
Being able to put one leg into one side of my pants, and then balancing on that leg, and then being able to put the other leg into the other side of my pants.
When I was getting dressed this morning, I thought, I wonder if I should mention this. So I'm very glad that you mentioned it.
Well, it is those silly little things. And I think it's noticing that you are finding it difficult, struggling. Maybe you're starting to sit down to put your pants on, or you can't reach to put your easily reach to put your shoes on. It's noticing those things as you get older, and instead of saying, oh, now I'm older, I can't do that, and saying to yourself, oh, I need to work on that, or I'm going to lose the ability. And that's really what you're saying. Keep working on something so that you don't lose the ability, because there's no reason why you should. And I think that's a really, really important.
Yeah. I mean, consistency with physical activity. Consistency is more important. I mean, some people get all enthusiastic and they go down the gym and they knacker themselves out and they think, well, I'm not doing that again. It's much better to do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but just do it consistently. And you will. The good news is, the good news is it took you decades, or it takes people decades to get to that level of infirmity, but it's amazing how quickly the body recovers. It's an amazing organism, the body.
Yeah, that's a good message, because I think the most daunting aspect of this, if you start to lose that functional fitness, is the belief that it's A, it's difficult to get it back, and B, it's going to take you a long time to get it back. And that's
no, it doesn't.
My next question to you, really. So I'd say, my question to you really is what advice would you give to build as much as much into your daily life, which is going to increase your physical capacity or functional fitness as possible? What are the best ways to do that? Give us some ideas.
Well, one of the walking. I'm so keen on walking. Walking is great. If you drive to the supermarket, this is just a little tip. If you drive to the supermarket, park as far away from the doors as you can, because you always get a space, and then you walk smugly past all the other drivers driving round and round and round trying to get a space. I mean, I have this thing called the 6K Daily Steps Challenge, and I think people should be walking at least 6,000 steps every day. I know 10,000 steps is the holy grail, and 10,000 steps, if you want to do that, is absolutely fine. But 6,000 has a lot of benefits, and it's much more doable, trust me. And if you can do that that's about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour walking. But you don't have to do it all at once. And I don't want people necessarily to think, right, I'm going to do my 6,000 steps. It's just tweaking your life so that you increase the number of steps. So, I mean, being older is quite useful, because you go upstairs, forget what you went up for, go back downstairs, go back upstairs again once you've remembered. But it is things like, people know, using the lift. If you're using public transport, get off a little bit earlier. I know that it can be time consuming walking, particularly if you're working and you're on a bit of a deadline. But things like walk around the sofa when the adverts are on, if you're watching television. Walk, if you're making a phone call, don't make it sitting down, just walk. Get a pedometer. You can get really good ones on your phone. It means you've got to take your phone with you everywhere you go, but I do anyway. So if I could have my phone surgically implanted, I would. But so just thinking about walking and things like one of my clients used to have, I'm going to have to stand up in a minute because I'm going to show you some things, but one of my clients used to have Post-its around her house. So in the sitting room, in the bathroom, she put it so that when she was cleaning her teeth, it said, do some squats. So she was cleaning her teeth and doing squats, and then when she was at the sink, it was, stand on one leg. So it's just having, I've got some, God, I could talk about this forever and ever. I've got some standalone videos on my YouTube channel, and I'm trying to build up a library of them. So I've got a 5-minute high intensity interval training. HIIT is a bit of a buzzword at the moment, where you exercise fairly intensively for a very short period of time, and then you have a bit of a rest. So I've got 5 exercises. It takes 5 minutes to do them. You do the HIIT for 20 seconds, and then you have 40 seconds rest. And that's not so much strength, but it just gets your heart going and makes you feel a bit energized. And I've got other ones I've got a set of 8 exercises that I do first thing in the morning before I even have my cup of tea. I get out of bed, go to the loo, probably too much information, and I just do these, and it just starts at the top of your head and goes right down. It just gives a little bit of a buzz. It goes right down. It takes less than 5 minutes to do them. And but sometimes you just have to say, I've got to do this. I don't like cleaning my teeth, but I wouldn't dare not clean my teeth.
No, absolutely. But I think it's, I try and stand on one leg. I've got a timer on my electric toothbrush, and I try and do the first minute standing on one leg and the second minute standing on the other leg. Yeah. And, that I clean my teeth twice a day. So I kind of do that twice a day. And I think building in daily routines where you're doing something that's pushing your fitness, helping your fitness is a really good way to go. And I totally support what you're saying about walking. And the great thing about walking is it has other benefits. It gets you outside. It's about light. It's also about air. You know what I mean? It's a whole exercise, really, isn't it? It's good for you, your body and soul exercise. I always think of as walking. So you've already talked about weight loss. So if you are overweight, do you think that you should take extra care when you're doing exercise? What's your approach to that if you have somebody who needs to lose a bit of weight?
Well, I think that we're all adults and people know their own capability. So my exercises can be done always at somebody's own level. So if you're really fit, you can give it a bit more welly. If you're not very fit, then you can do it at your own level. So I mean, a lot of, for example, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'm at Granada Studios, they found me a room. Right. I don't think this is going to work. It's too small. How much of me can you see?
I'll do it anyway. We'll and talk us through it.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna move the camera back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. So what I would do first thing in the morning, I'm just going to move it back a wee bit more. They could have given me a studio with my own camera, couldn't they? The ones I do in the morning, just to sort of get you going, is I start and I just turn my head very slowly, because your neck is a bit delicate, so don't do it fast. And also you can make yourself a bit dizzy. Just do it. I just do it 10 times. I do all of these 10 times, just to loosen your neck a bit, because I have quite a stiff neck. And a lot of things about balance is being flexible, because if you think about it, if you're walking and you come to a road junction and there's a road there and you're trying to see if there's anything coming and your head doesn't turn properly, you're overbalanced, so that when you start again, you're more likely to fall. So I think flexibility and coordination as well as strength are really important. And then I do just touching my hand above my head like that. If you can't get it up there, just do it wherever you can. I do 10 of those. And then this one, I really like this one. You raise one arm and put this one back, because not only are you raising your arm, but you're strengthening these back muscles. It's really good for your posture. So I do 10 of those on each side. And then I have my hands here, sort of cowboy, stick them up, and you bring them and you just touch your elbows together. If you can't get your elbows together, it doesn't matter. Just bring them where you can. And that's the arm ones. That's so you've done your neck, you've done your arms. And then I just do a twist like that. I keep my head and my pelvis facing forwards. I just do that. And I do that 10 times, just to sort of loosen the spine a bit. If you want to, you can do some side bends, but you don't have to. And then I put my hands here at my waist, and I just bring my knee up to my hands. You can just see it there. If you can't get your knee to touch your hands, absolutely fine. Just bring them up where you can. Don't bring your hands down. The object of the exercise is not actually to touch your hands with your knees. It's just to mobilize your hips. And it's very non-impactful. It's not going to damage you if you've got bad knees or anything. I do that one. And then finally, I just stand on tiptoes 10 times. And that's great for balance. It's great for ankles. It's great for calves. And that's what I do first thing in the morning. And it just sort of mobilizes you and sets you up a bit. I mean, I do other things as well during the day. You could, if you drop anything, I don't know if any of you have grandchildren. Wobbly there. I don't know if any of you have grandchildren, but if you notice, if they drop anything, they don't bend down to pick it up like we do. They squat right down. Just watch how straight their little backs are. It's just beautiful to see. So if you drop something, get in the habit of squatting down using your legs to pick it up. It's quite hard, that. What you can do is practice standing up from a chair. It's going to be difficult. You're not going to be able to see this properly.
Okay.
Just stand up and then just sit down gently. Don't plonk. And stand up. Ooh, stand up. and sit down. If you can, try not to let your, it's black on black, try not to let your knees come in. Try and keep your thighs parallel. And that's really good for strengthening your legs. If you need to, you can swing your arms to give you momentum, or you can put your hands on your knees if all those are impossible to get you up. But eventually, you should aim to be able to get up from any seat without using your hands, and not get up the stairs without pulling yourself up the stairs. Get off the loo. I don't know if any of you saw the American series with Jane Fonda and her name escapes me, Frankie and Grace and Frankie. Anyway, Jane Fonda had knee replacements and got stuck on the loo and had to call somebody. So we don't want to get stuck on the loo. You need strong thighs and strong glutes, your bum muscles, to power you along.
Well, they're all very good tips, and what I like about those is because they are quite gentle, and you don't have to do them madly, and you could do those if you were. I started off by asking you about being overweight. If you were slightly overweight, doing those gentle movements with your head, with your arms and all that kind of thing is perfectly safe to do if you're slightly overweight. And that I think it's terribly important that you don't use that as an excuse not to do something. Because it is very tempting to think, oh, well, I have to be careful, otherwise I'll do myself some damage and so on. The other thing that is interesting about what you're telling us is you don't need any special equipment for this, do you?
No. I meant to bring in, I actually use exercise bands in my class. An exercise band, I meant to bring some in to show you, but I forgot. I do use exercise bands, and exercise bands are useful if you want to use equipment, because if you're a little bit fitter, doing some of the exercises, you need a bit of resistance, and exercise bands are good because they're light and they're versatile. If you're using weights, you might have to have several different heaviness of weights, and that's, you can't carry them around. Exercise bands are useful, but generally no, just use, this one, for example, where you're putting your hands above your head, if you're not if you're doing it first thing in the morning to wake you up, just try that one. It's on my YouTube channel. If you try it, it does perk you up, because I thought, oh, I wonder, and a couple of mornings I did it and it did perk me up. But if you want to do it, you could just get a couple of tins of beans and just do that if you wanted to. But usually your own body weight, particularly if you're doing, those of you that are maybe been to the gym or a bit fitter, doing planks and things, they're quite hardcore. And so your body weight exercises can be quite, if you ever tried to do a press up, you know all about it. But I'm all for gentle stuff, because you may think, well, it's not really doing anything, but it is. When I ran face-to-face classes, I had this lady and she came, and honestly, when she first came, she could hardly put one foot in front of the other. I'm not kidding you, she was really. And after about 2 or 3 months, we were doing one of the exercises. It was like a circuit class. They had to walk between chairs, and I looked at her and she was running. She was trotting between the chairs, and it was amazing. It made me feel quite emotional actually when I saw it. So it is doable.
That was something that I wanted to ask you about as well, because I think it's terribly important that you measure progress and that you actually keep a record of what you can do and then see what progress you're making, because that feedback loop of doing something, doing it better, being able to do it more is incredibly important to keep you going. It's that whole sense, I am actually getting better at this. My body is responding to this. And I think that's any way that you can do to do that, to give yourself a measurement of success, is incredibly important. And you've just mentioned it there, and I think that's a good thing. Let's just finish in the last few minutes that we've got together, Rosemary. I'm very keen that you get more subscribers for your YouTube sessions, because I know that you are looking to do that. And so tell us all about that. How can people join, and how does that work?
Well, YouTube, the great thing about YouTube is free. So my YouTube channel is called I can never remember it. It's Rosemary Mallace, over 50 is FIFTY. It's not 50, over 50 fitness. I'm at the moment, I've been doing sort of mentoring with Google and things to try and up my profile a bit. But I mean, it's free, so just have a look at it and see what you like. If you like what you see, you can buy me a coffee, which is a way of sort of giving me a tip, I suppose. But I mean, there's no obligation at all. My Facebook page is a very good way to get in touch with me, my Over 50 Fitness Facebook page. There's a lot of F's in that, isn't there? That's a really good way of getting in touch with me, because there's a lot of information on there about fitness, and my YouTube videos are all on my Facebook page as well. But through Messenger, you can. And I'm one of these people. I sit on social media the whole time, so I always get back to people. Okay. Like, oh, somebody's contacted me. So yeah, I always get back to people. And I'm quite happy to give free advice. You know, if people say to me, oh, Rosemary, how do I get rid of these round shoulders? Or I've got this back problem, and I'm quite happy to give advice.
Yeah, I found you very easily this afternoon. I thought I'd have a go. And so I literally typed, I went onto YouTube, I typed Rosemary Mallace, and your name is spelled Mallace,
like Wallace, but with an M.
Yes, Mallace, and you came up immediately. I clicked on and I watched the video that you had a live session yesterday, 27th,
yes,
your latest one,
yeah.
And it's wonderfully clear. It was very easy to follow. So do those of you watching this who are interested in finding a way to, you know, to follow a class, to do so, and of course you were doing it at home, there was no equipment, but it was good stuff. And I do think that, you know, as I said, I know you want to build out your channel and get more followers, and this is a good way. And I would also encourage those people watching to buy you a coffee, because I think we shouldn't take it for granted that people like you are giving of your time and expertise for nothing. And you know, £4 for a cup of coffee, and to say thank you for a 3/4 of an hour of fantastic fitness class, I think you should be rewarded for that. So
that's very kind of you to say so. Thank you.
Well, you know, I believe that very passionately. So I do encourage those of you watching this, and it was one of the reasons I wanted to interview you this afternoon, because I was very conscious that exercise is a big subject for women of our age, and you were an ideal candidate, A, because you're the age that you are, B, because you're really good at what you do, and C, because you're running something very regularly that people can then join up with, to follow, keep going with, and will definitely see the benefit from if you commit to it. So do that, because I think it's a brilliant way to go. I do hope that Rosemary has inspired you all. I think she is a very inspirational person.
Spread the word, people.
Yeah, spread the word, absolutely. I actually don't think there's a choice about this stuff as we get older. There really isn't. No. We can choose to sit in a chair and slowly get stiffer and stiffer. And
I love chair sitting. I can sit and stare mindlessly at the telly for hours on end. I love it. I just don't let myself do it.
Exactly. So that's not a recipe for a really healthy and active old age. So everything that you've said, Rosemary, is designed to support us to live better and to keep our functionality, which is terribly important. So thank you very much indeed, Rosemary.
Thank you.
Do find the link to Rosemary's, we'll put a link to Rosemary's YouTube channel on this video, and I think there is a link to it on the blog. So there are lots of ways to get to her, but you can just go onto YouTube and type in Rosemary Mallace and you will find her, as I did this afternoon. Thank you to all of you for coming, and see you again soon. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye.